Previously, in the GodBreaking, our group of adventurers, having made their way through the, um, how do you say it, the depths of hell, and escaped with their prize, which is the soul of their friend Elwyn, found that the world that they revisited, that they rejoined with, um, was different from the one that they left. They found themselves placed 2 years later than when they left. Making your way to Mistrala, you found the city there, war-torn, ravaged by dragon attack. Much different from the city that you left. Speaking with Grandmaster Telephos, you learned a little bit of what has happened. How the dragon monarchs that had been captured by Malconthet and Tiamat, the goddess of dragons, have been running rampage over basically the whole world, and how one single dragon had torn Mistrala apart, rendering even Telephos himself greatly wounded. Working with your freshly rejoined ally, Renly, who had returned from the Feywild not so long ago, you sought out a way to break the hold on the dragons, or to find some deliverance for this world before all of civilization was wiped out. You encountered an interesting and unsurprising character in Scarpio the Prolific, who had made his way to Mistrala, greatly wounded, having lost his traveling troupe. You discovered his true nature, that he is the last remaining Jinn, the final of a dying species, and that he was here, kept alive by fate to fulfill his last purpose, which is to direct you to Bifinzor himself, or as you know him, Biffin the Dwarf. He pointed you to a location in the goblin nation of Skignash, and before breathing his last breath. You guys traveled to Skignash. You curb stomped a bunch of goblins, some quite brutally and unnecessarily, but you guys did that. And you found your deep in the Goblin Warren, your old friend in a greatly intoxicated state, where he has been for basically a couple of years. Biffin the Dwarf. No, you left early last week, didn't you, Albrecht?
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. You left.
Okay.
You found Biffin the Dwarf,
Wonderful.
heavily intoxicated, and according to his story, a couple years ago, he had heard a strange call, a strange something that caused him to begin to wander and to walk in the direction towards where what you guys know is the Dragon Summit, Mount Dracarys. But as he traveled, he fell into drunkenness. He found ways to kind of avoid the call, and ended up crashing into a goblin warren and hid underground for over a year, basically drinking all their alcohol and making them just they were not strong enough to kill him, so he just lived there, and they lived with him being there. So that's what he's been doing for the past year and change, after hearing the dragon call and being drawn to it but not ever finishing his journey. You guys brought him out and transported him and the rest of you guys back to your keep in Heldren, which is in eastern Hasselin. So you guys are currently right here where the circle is. You were rejoined with the dwarves, the remaining dwarves. Again, their population was some 14,000 individuals back before you guys left, the ones that you rescued from Cragland. That number's been cut down to less than half. You're somewhere in the 6,000 range, with the many wars and the turmoil that they've experienced. But here, unlike the rest of the world, Hasselin is too remote of a location. It's fallen off the radar, so it's been surprisingly free from dragon attacks. So the past couple of years have been years of relative peace for the dwarves here, and also you believe, although you have not confirmed it yet, in Westfane, where you heard that Prince Tyrell is now King Tyrell Haas, the boy king of Westfane, having taken over the throne that his father vacated when he was killed by Gromash. All right, that's where we left off. You guys are there hanging out with Biffin. You are in Hasselin. As far as I'm concerned, you have crashed for the night, and you are now the next day dealing with a mostly sober or sobering up Biffin, trying to figure out what the heck to do. Now, what do you guys want to do?
I imagine that the pantry in my mansion is completely empty of alcohol.
Yeah. Biffin has found his way to it and has been drinking it. You at some point you commanded your unseen servants to withhold alcohol from him, in which case he waged war against 100 unseen servants, and got his alcohol anyway.
So many casualties. Oh.
They come back when I cast it again. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Steve.
So a mostly sober Biffin.
Yeah.
And so many
Relatively,
red shirts on the floor.
relatively so.
He only had a mansion's worth of alcohol, so he's sober enough.
And there is a room in the mansion that is completely filthy right now because of all night shenanigans, I imagine, as well.
I just burned that
yes,
room down.
Elwin's
Just burn
all
it.
night shenanigans.
Yeah.
I don't know if Elwin stayed in your mansion. He might have gone off to a dwarven hole somewhere.
Oh no,
Eloise.
whoever met their girlfriend here came to the mansion because I made him a room.
Oh, is that true? All right, Elwin. Elwin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Yeah. So roll me 3 performance checks in a row.
Wait.
I did not give Elwin foresight. I gave Amos foresight. Never mind.
Correct. Correct.
Ooh, damn,
He
Elwin.
got it.
I did.
He got it.
All right, all right.
He went in there. I did give him the enhanced ability to advance that skill.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
All right. So Elwin, as you made it your way through the night, you had multiple performances, all of which were stellar, and the whole wing of your mansion, Adis, was basically rocked with sounds and vibrations and screams all night long. A couple
Oh,
of
I
you
made
guys
sure
had
to put soundproof walls in their room.
When the mansion's a rockin', don't come a knocking.
Elwin, you wake up the next morning from your trance, physically completely exhausted. Eloise is borderline comatose with rapturous exhaustion, and you guys, she's not gonna be up and about until at least noon. But it's right now early in the morning. What do you guys want to do?
Oh, when this spell's in, she's gonna wind up flat on her face on the ground outside.
Or maybe Elwin will. We don't know how it works.
Yeah.
So
I will go to the store and buy Gatorade and beef jerky because I know when Elwin comes out, he'll need to just electrolyte up.
Okay, you hear a crash of glass as Biffin is wrestling the last flagon of mead away from an unseen servant. He says, "I told you, fucking give it to me. I'll kill you all." And he crushes an unseen servant on the ground and like stomps on it with his boot and rips the last flagon of mead away from it. Ha ha ha! Aye, this'll do. And he kind of flops down onto the table, just sitting there, and just tips it up completely, end up, as he
Was
drains
it enough for you?
Aye, it was a start. It was a start. A good day to begin. A good day of drinking.
Oh wait, no. You guys are still at the mansion, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we're in the
Yeah.
mansion.
Never mind.
Oh no, I was definitely not in the mansion. I was very much worried about the sounds that would probably echo through various chambers and spent the day outside the mansion.
Really, stay next to me. I'm holy or something. I'll protect you from the evil, haunted stuff.
Sure. Yes.
And in the middle of the courtyard of this castle place, there's just this random fucking door. Just a random door in the middle of the courtyard that nobody can open.
By the way, Elvin's companion. What was her name again?
Eloise.
Oh no, I asked in character.
Oh, Eloise.
She got with him really fast. Are they your thing? Like,
Don't
No.
know.
do you think she actually wants to, you know?
Yes,
Okay, yes. So
because
so
I
do you
want to
think
see
should
you really
approach her
skinny.
tomorrow? And
Yeah,
ask her, you know, if she wants to perhaps get more fertile. I can definitely work on this. I
Well,
have some tea and I
what
can do
I
the spell,
think-
and then we'll have
yeah.
little Elwins everywhere.
Oh my gosh, I would love to see skinny dwarfs. I'm really confused on what would happen. Skinny dwarfs with little tiny wings. Be fucking cute. I'm gonna name them. I'm assuming they come in litters. I don't know how it works.
That is a
So,
good point.
I'm going to walk up to Biffin and, what have we told him about? Have we mentioned anything about? We heard his story, but have we mentioned anything of our adventures yet to him?
No,
I'm
you
gonna
haven't.
leave the mansion and fly up about 100 feet in the air, and I'm gonna tell them you got about an hour left before you all get kicked out of here.
I'm basically just gonna tell Biffin that, about our encounters with the dragons on Dracaris, about how they were taken over, and how we're looking for somebody named Buffinzor. And as I say that, I'm gonna watch him intently to see if there's any reaction.
Okay.
Well, we've already done all the. Like,
as
doesn't
you
remember
do
shit.
that, you're not sure if it's linked, but around the same time you mentioned Buffinzor, he lets loose a pretty big fart, and it's pretty rocking. And he looks at you. He says, "I think there was something came out with that one." His eyes are kind of glossed over as he's in a drunken, a little bit of a drunken haze.
Which, I don't know. I looked at Damos. What do we do now then?
Oh, I'm outside.
Well, I assume.
Were you guys outside the door?
Oh, I don't know. We were doing something.
Well, if you guys were outside the door when I came out, I told you you could go in.
Oh. Okay.
Is
walk in.
Eloise awake at this point?
No. It is like 7 a.m. She
might
is
be a morning
passed out in
person.
her in her room.
Hey, Biffin.
Oh,
You remember your Drake and stuff yet, right, bro?
what?
Yeah.
What
Okay.
dragons?
Alright, so
Dragons?
What I'm
Dragons
gonna,
are
what I'm
stuff
gonna
of fucking fairy tales.
Isn't it crazy? All right. So, all right. Do we have any idea how to get people to remember stuff?
We do know how to get him to remember stuff.
All right. I knock him on the head.
Ah,
Do you remember now, bro?
fucking hell! He cracks you
I give
across.
him a
He slaps you
bottle
across the
tequila.
face. He
I give him a
backhands you
bottle
across
of-
the face.
Oh. All right. Slap him back.
I'm gonna get between the two, and I say, I'm just. I look at Deimos and I say, do we just tell him what we think he is?
Oh, yeah. Didn't we tell him that last time? We thought he was like a.
Didn't we go
break-in.
through
Yeah, we
this?
did. We told
Yes, last night. I feel
Oh,
like
what
this
was
has
his
happened
reaction?
before.
He doesn't remember shit.
Jack
Okay.
squat, dear, Jack squat.
All right, hey Biffin, I'm gonna give you this bottle of tequila and just like 12 chimichangas.
Aye.
Right after you let me do one thing to you, is that cool?
He stands up. He grabs you by the shirt, Deimos. He pulls you close up and he's looking at you. He's like standing on a bench, so he's face to face with you. He says, "You are a true friend to me."
I know.
As he
I
takes
am.
the tequila from your hand.
Oh
he
no,
says-
you get it after.
You have
get it after.
my Lego, fucking Lego.
Hey, 1 second. If you let go of this, I will give you an extra bottle of secret special reserve tequila.
Hey, he lets go. He says,
All you gotta do,
"It better be
close your
coming
eyes.
fast."
Remember, just pretend, think that you're a dragon. Trust me, it's real weird. Think you're a dragon for a second.
I
Close your eyes and focus on it. And I'm gonna start. If he does it, I'm gonna start blasting him with like greater restorations and shit.
All right. Roll a perception check.
Can I do this
No, I don't see shit.
as I'm staring wide-eyed
You
at
don't see
them?
shit. You're healing
Don't
with
see shit.
greater restorations. There is no effect. After, you're shocking him basically, and he like shudders slightly, and he opens his eyes. He says, "Now listen here, Demos.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're into or what they're trying to do by touching me so, but for fucking tequila," he says, "I will endure it for a little longer."
All right. I actually say, here's a fifth. Start chugging this down as I'm going. Trust me, this is for science. But yeah, I'll blast it at like 9th level. Why the fuck not? See if something happens.
Okay. So, roll one more perception check.
Can I do this as well? As I'm looking at them wide-eyed.
Sure. Okay. So, Damus, you're while he's there complying with you, both of you realize that his form, his transformation is complete. It's completely thorough. He now that this is the first time you've really investigated his physical makeup. He's a dwarf. He's a dwarf that's over 6,000 years old, more like 8,000 years old. For somehow kept in this form. There are differences in the sense that he's died multiple times. There's some kind of inner force that keeps him, that sustains him, that moves him around, but he's not conscious of it at all. Biffin the dwarf is the character that you've known and that you've traveled with and interacted with. If there is anything deeper to him, if there's anything more to him, it is so deep in his subconscious that he has not been aware of it. He's forgotten it thousands of years ago.
Okay.
So as Deimos is doing this, I'm going to be conversing with Adis about memory recollection spells and what he thinks about all of this.
Okay. All right, okay, Adis, you return to the mansion after going out and doing your best to study the scroll that you've inherited from Dolric.
I'll explain to him that there's this like, what was it? There's basically a ritual we have to do, a ceremony we have to do, and it's gonna be kind of a group effort to pull it off. We probably shouldn't do it in town.
So there is a section of the scroll. So remember this, Dolric crafted this scroll specifically to try to bring to bear the arcane power necessary to unlock Befinzor's mind, to summon Befinzor forth from his humanoid form. So there is a section of the scroll that's dedicated towards that, Adis. But trying to do this is what basically destroyed Dolric.
Right.
Oh,
And if this works, we definitely won't want him turning into a dragon in the middle of town.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I do. Okay. Well, I just say let's,
That mountain was a good place.
yeah, or do we even have to do it there? Let's just drag him out of town with the promise of booze and sit around in a circle and kumbaya.
While you guys are talking, Biffin slaps you across the face, Deimos. He said, "Hey, my fucking drink! You promised."
Hey, yeah, bro. I pull up my cooler and I give him a shit ton of booze. I'm like, I told you, dude. I was just trying to fix your liver so you can drink more.
Hey, fuck yes.
Hell, fuck yeah, man.
He like double bottles, one in each hand.
Dude,
And
I'll
he-
give
and
him.
he-
I'll double bottle him too, so he's drinking 4 bottles at the same time. Because we're total bros.
So we're gonna need a whole lot of arcane might for this.
I would like to try out something that I prepare in the morning, and that is I would like to cast a spell. It's one of the new spells I hadn't list. It's 8th level. It's Divine Truth, and I'm
Okay.
just asking the universe at large. But before doing that, I will cast foresight on myself because it is very likely not going to work otherwise.
Okay. Let's see. I'm linking
And
divine truth.
yeah, and I'm basically just trying to ask the universe at large, is there a way, perhaps through magic mushrooms, to tap into the deep subconscious? You know, like
Right.
Xanax or something. Um, but
Roll it. Roll your
but
check.
yeah, alrighty, and I am burning my
I
ninth
forgot
aid.
Renly was a. I forgot Renly
Yeah.
was a mushrooms expert.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, does Deimos respond to her? Because that might be a god. I don't know. Maybe
No,
fif-
no, no.
There's a chance.
You-
Yeah, yeah.
Your ass is not a god. Your ass is not a god.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll pop it. I'll be popping guidance on wisdom.
Okay.
Barely.
All right. As you so Renly, so you guys I'll say about this time the spell is ending. The mansion spell is ending, so you guys are all exiting in a neat manner. Elwyn, are you awake and about, or are you still in bed?
Right now, I'll still be in bed, because over here in real light, I'm writing a report, so for now I'll
Okay,
be
no problem.
sleeping.
All right, no problem. All right, so you guys get out. You guys are all outside. You're outside the on the outskirts of Heldren, near your keep. The dwarven town is visible, but you guys are not in the dwarven settlement. Same thing, and again, that's about 2 miles away from Heldren, which is the town that you guys were gifted by King Reginald Haas years ago. Renly,
It's still
um,
standing.
it's it was attacked and busted up, but the town itself, even though the half the population was killed, it did manage to rally, and the people are still there.
Impressive.
Renly, you cast divine truth, and you reach out to the universe to, let's see here, to the gods that you know of, and to the greater beings that you encountered that you heard gained hint of in the Feywild, and you ask about the power of nature to help soothe the chaos infused mind of Biffin, of your dwarven friend, and to pull out the deep secrets of the subconscious. As you're off on your own, and the wind swirls around you, and you hear the whispers of nature come to you. This is a familiar feeling to you, someone who has communed with nature for so long in such a deep and profound way. The whispers of the wind kind of swirl through your ear, telling you truths, telling you secrets, whispering to you rumors and basically talking about the patterns and the ebbs and flows of this plane, of this land, of this country that you're in. What you do learn is that, unknown to you before, that a simple combination of basic mushrooms and herbs has been known to have potent psychedelic effects on the mind, that can draw out truths of the subconscious. It's an ancient recipe, an ancient truth that is actually you've never seen in a textbook or something before, but the goddess Gaia herself, or at least an avatar of hers or a voice of hers, does whisper this truth into your mind. All right. Also, roll me a perception check.
Alrighty, and as this happens, I'm yelling out loud. How did I never discover this before?
This is an ancient recipe. All right, all right. All right. Sorry, I'm gonna whisper this last bit to you. But that was the truth, and you come away with this basic understanding, and it's more not a recipe. It's more of a basic relationship between herbs and some of the mushroom strains that are actually fairly common to you, that you never knew of before. You almost see the energy between them relating in a way, as along with the chemical reactions that occur between these herbs. It's just an awareness that you never knew of before, and it's a deep truth that druids of eons past might have been able to tap into, but that information has been lost to this current generation of druids.
So can
As
I?
they exit out, I'll be like, boys, I know you like to drink like last night showed, but how about some special mushrooms? And I look towards Biff. They're even better than drink. Oh, and I feel a breeze coming from the west. It's quite chilly. Maybe in a not good way, maybe in a supernatural way. I'm not sure. Does anyone want to check it out?
Hey,
I bet I can drink more of the stuff than you can.
You're eating
Midas?
mushrooms.
I bet I can eat more than you can, Biffin.
What's up?
So I have a general sense that this is probably gonna take a whole lot of arcane power to pull off.
Mhm.
Okay. Hey, Deimos.
Yeah.
So we're gonna need a lot of arcane power to pull off
I-
this stunt.
Zero arcane power.
Yeah, don't resist this. I true polymorph him into myself.
No. I can't do that. You have
It's
weak
not
muscles.
permanent. It's not permanent.
I know, but you
Deimos,
have no muscles.
Deimos, your dick shrinks 3 inches.
No, no, no. It went from a solid 15 to a 12.
Because it literally makes you a carbon copy of me.
No.
So you have all the same arcane power I do.
How
And
do you walk
physical
around with this thing?
limitations.
I was a chick once before.
Deimos,
you again.
Deimos, you have the power to enlarge it as big as you want.
No,
You now have the power to make it as
Look at
big as
this
you
thing.
want.
it's only 12 inches. What do you do with it?
Now,
Nothing.
now, hold
Nothing.
on. Deimos,
I'm not a
this
newborn.
is what I,
Oh.
Deimos, this is
Okay.
what I need you to do. I
Okay.
need you to now true polymorph Albrecht into
Oh.
me.
Albrecht. I'm really sorry, Albrecht. Don't look down. Just keep your eyes straight. And don't resist. And think big thoughts.
And I'll polymorph Albrecht too.
And then I need Albrecht to polymorph Elwyn. We'll bring him out here.
Oh, Elvin's not ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I would say.
Bro, my magical dick is much bigger than yours.
Dude,
You
his thing is
haven't,
the
you
biggest out of all
haven't,
of
your
us.
intelligence is like more than half mine.
Yeah, but he's got charisma.
Oh, that's right, that's right, sorcerer's arcane power works differently. That's
Yes.
right, my bad.
But we have to have the mushrooms first. God damn it! Is it?
we
Yeah,
don't,
let's do
the mushrooms aren't a part of this. The scroll doesn't say anything about ancient mushrooms.
What?
No,
We're doing
so
shrooms
so
first.
Adis, the scroll talks about a variety of confluences of different energies.
Okay.
So different kinds of arcane energy absolutely would be beneficial.
Okay, cool. So we'll do druidic, sorceric, and a whole lot of arcanic.
What
Arcane.
about
Archaic.
Holiic?
Too late. I
Is Holy arcanish? Because if you
Uh,
don't,
Yours is
turn
more
things
divine
off-
energy.
Yeah.
Okay,
yours
I was
is
just making sure. Yeah.
It's divine energy. It's different. In this world, it's different.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Alright, cool.
What are you guys
Then
doing?
we've got.
I'm crying.
So now we'll try to attempt to do this ritual. Or this.
Well, no, let's do the
what was
shrooms.
it?
Let's actually do the shrooms first. is what
Yeah,
we're
shrooms
saying.
first. Shrooms first. Shrooms can always help.
Well, the me's, the three me's shouldn't, because if it
Oh,
has
wait.
any effect on the concentration, it's gonna break the spells.
Are you guys
You
are
know,
taking the mushroom? Planning to take the mushrooms, or are you planning to give them to Biffin?
To Biffin, I think.
Yeah.
Okay,
we're
so
planning
Renly,
to
it's
go-
Renly, it's gonna take you a little
I
bit of time to craft to basically create the recipe. It's gonna take you at least
figured.
15 minutes with
Yeah.
your things you have on hand.
Can I help her with? Do I have it
Chopping?
prepared? Nope, I don't have it prepared. No, I have the spell creation, but I don't have it prepared.
How do people like this pick up things? What happens if there's like a heavy door? They just locked outside?
We have magic to do that.
Look at this thing. Look at my arm. It's like my pinky.
You can touch it and cast enlarge on it.
Yeah, but it's still
my
just doubling the size, so it's like still tiny. What is this? I don't have enough magic in this body to make it big enough. Oh, I'll tell you what, though. I know calculus pretty well. I don't even know what calculus
Yeah,
is.
you're freaking smarter than you've
Wait,
ever been in your life.
What the fuck
You
is
have
this
a
shit?
24 intelligence right now.
So
Crazy
Deimos,
shit.
Deimos,
Yeah.
as you're there talking about this, Biffin comes up and slaps you on the back of the head,
Oh.
which before didn't hurt so much, or at this time it like sends you tumbling. Oi,
Oh, God.
hey, pussy Deimos,
Hey,
I need more,
hey.
I need more fucking tequila.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll give it to him
What
because
is
I'm
it,
a
tequila?
big old... I'm a pansy. I'm like, oh, Biffin. I need a hug. And I'll drink with him.
Oh my god.
You have the constitution for it still.
But I'll take little people drinks because I'm tiny.
Actually, Deimos, you can actually drink more now.
No, I can't.
Yeah, you can, because you actually have more con. I have more constitution than you.
How much constitution do you have?
20.
Why? No, I still have more.
You have a 16 con,
No,
bro.
I have a 20 right now.
Huh?
I have a 20
This is 16 on the party sheet.
because I'm you. Da, 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 da.
No.
I got everything you got.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
you don't
Alright.
you don't beat my constitution though.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh,
so
hell no.
Biffin grabs more tequila from you and he starts chugging it again, drifting further and further into drunkenness. What are you guys
This
doing?
is surely going to help. I mean, it will not conflict with the mushrooms at all. And I will actually turn into Moonside Starcaller and,
Okay.
and like, do this in Fey form because I'm sure this will probably help with actually preparing the mushrooms. And I'll call Syndris and have him like get that fire under control under the cauldron and like get the mushrooms ready. This is the purpose of a legacy weapon, cooking!
Sure. Okay. So you shapeshift into Moon Scythe, which is basically an owl bear, but like a highly intelligent and in tune with nature one, like the epitome of its kind. And this one is walking. It's intelligent. It's basically a moonkin from World of Warcraft. You So you transform into Moon Scythe, and there's a howl around you as the very essence of lunar nature, lunar magic surrounds you and swirls about you. The rest of you guys are a bit baffled at this creature. And did I have a picture of this?
I see a
think I
little
saved a picture
token
of
on the
this.
top right. I'm not sure if that.
Yeah, I got the token. I don't think I saved the if I find it, I'll show it to you guys. I don't think I saved the actual image.
No worries.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay. So it's this minus the chick. So imagine the chick isn't there. Okay. That's Moon Scythe.
I have anklers.
Wait,
Okay.
that's what she looks like? Minus
Moon
the chick?
Scythe. Yeah, the chick isn't there. It's Moon Scythe. It's the big owl bear with antlers in the back.
Oh, that's what she turned into.
Yeah, that's what she turned into. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
good.
And
I'm
it's a large
committing that
creature,
to
so
Murray.
So, Renly, Moon Scythe is one of the guardians of the Feywild. It's an incredibly powerful creature that you encounter there, and through the power of your legacy weapon, you're able to summon its spirit, and your mind goes almost it changes. The way you see, your perceptions, your senses, they alter to fit that of the beast. Your vision sharpens, and you can see further away. Your sense of scent dulls a little bit, and your body is much larger and feathery. Okay?
This is awesome.
Okay. And also you feel a great power, great amplification, and great greater connection with nature. You summon Sindrius, who is your fire elemental. And he begins he summons a flame that you begin to boil and prepare and scald the mushrooms according to the truth that you unlocked with your divine spell. Okay, so that's working. That's happening. What are the rest of you doing?
Waiting on her.
Yep.
With the summoning of your different elemental forms, you're able to not just hasten the process, but enhance it. You're able to craft this substance in the purest possible form. And as you finish, you find yourself holding with a bowl with light greenish distilled liquid inside it.
I will nod towards Biffin and slide it over.
Okay. All right, Adis is the other three. What are you guys doing?
We'll wait for him to drink it.
I cast wish.
You actually can if you have your 9th level. Albert can actually cast wish. No,
He
you
just
actually can.
No,
No, I
he
can't,
casts
no,
True
no.
Polymorph.
Yeah, I
Albert
can't.
could.
I thought you
No,
lost
Albert.
wish.
He's making a clone of you.
Yeah,
He's making a clone
you're
of
a
you.
clone of me,
All the
so
future
wait,
versions
wait.
of you
Yeah.
all the
Can I
future
make a
clones of
wish
you
to
are
make
are
Ellen and
likewise
Adis be able
scarred.
to cast wish again? That's my
Okay.
wish.
If you had a 9th level
well,
spell, you might be able to try, but no, you
I
can't.
wish.
Yeah,
Um,
Albrecht, you have access to astral projection, imprisonment, invulnerability, meteor swarm, time stop, and true polymorph for 9th level. No wish, because it's
Okay.
only what I have prepared. I think.
Yeah.
They would
Alright.
be able to use.
So you guys bring the bowl over to Biffin, and as he drinks it, the you can sense a pause. He takes it and he says, he's willing to drink anything you give him. So he drains it and he chugs the bowl, and all of a sudden there's a pause, and his eyes close, and you can tell he's tripping. Like his mind is beginning to drift. He settles down onto his knees, his hands on the ground, and his knees on the ground. He's looking down, focused on intently on the floor, and he says, "The fucking hell! My mind is it's traveling. I can see beyond." And he you can tell that his mind has begun to at least travel and take him further, take him away from his normal state. What do the rest of you want to do?
I'm assuming that the scroll came with instructions.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're gonna follow the instructions.
All right. So you begin to you pull out your scroll, the scroll of Dol Rakaimim, and you find the passage where the ritual of to break the seal, the ancient seal on Biffin's mind, is inscribed. It's a pretty complex one, but with the three of you, Adis, and Deimos and Albert, the three of you, your combined intellects, working together, you're able to translate and make sense of the complicated patterns. And the three of you form a triangle around Biffin and began to summon the arcane powers necessary to enact this spell. A shock of energy swirls out around you, all around you. Any creatures, any animals or insects or whatever, any natural life in the area quickly flees as there's a burst of arcane energy surrounding this dwarf, this red-headed dwarf, kneeling down on the ground. You guys see as you guys open your eyes, you see a complex web of arcane entanglement surrounding Biffin. One of it's a shape changing of incredible power and depth, but one that has become hardened over millennia. And so you basically see this entire structure, superstructure, all surrounding him, and the three of you begin to gradually try to unweave it, removing parts, undoing segments, breaking through calcifications that have hardened over time. And it's slow, tedious work, and it's very gentle work too, because you know that any failures on your parts will not only result in arcane backlash against Biffin, but against yourselves as well. Okay. So
Okay.
at this, I need Adis. What's your arcane check modifiers?
Plus 13.
Okay. So Adis, Deimos, and Albric roll me Arcana checks. So it's basically a D20 plus 13.
I'm better at arcane than regular Adis.
So plus 13 makes that a 31.
Hey, there's nothing that says.
Oh
the
man,
copy
you're the
can't be
worst
better
Adis out
than
of all
the
of us,
original.
Adis.
It says the copy can't be better than the original.
All right. As you guys do that, you're able to make significant headway. The three of you weaving and working together. Elwin, you see this happening, having been kicked out of the around the time around this time the Magnificent Mansion spell ends, and Elwin and Eloise get shunted out of their parallel dimension. They land on the floor completely naked.
Oh my god!
Their stuff goes out with them too.
Well, they were naked, so
No,
their
but I mean
clothes, all their belongings
yeah.
are scattered on the floor around them.
Yeah.
Eloise,
a latex outfit.
Eloise is shocked and horrified, having been woken up violently as she's dropped to the ground, naked. She grabs her clothing. She says, "Bloody hell!" And she covers herself. She's
I stand up and I stand in front of her to provide a lot of cover.
okay.
We're
Fortunately,
not
none
even
of the
paying attention.
the rest of them aren't even
Oh
watching.
no, for the public in general.
Yeah. She begins the
Preventing for the
process
courtyard.
of robing herself behind you. Okay, Elwin, as you see this happening, what offering do you give? What contribution do you make to this process?
Do I even know what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
in the
pretty.
middle, I think.
You come over and you spend a minute examining what's happened, but it's pretty obvious. You see Biffin in the center, under the thrall of a heavy druidic imbibement, and around them three Adises who you can recognize, because of your arcane insight and clothing, that they're polymorph versions of Deimos and Albric. You see them rapidly maneuvering and manipulating arcane sigils and rune sequences.
The most powerful thing that I would have to offer would be something to do with my draconic ancestry. So I guess
Okay.
I'll fly in my naked form with my marvelous wings, and then
In
I
true
will
glory.
I will try to breathe fire and have it intertwine with their magical energies. What would
Okay.
you like me to roll?
I want you to first do your roll a Arcana check. Okay, and then do the damage roll of your fire breathing spell.
Oh shit.
Okay. As you blaze up into the sky, you focus down and you unleash the full dragon flame from your legacy item. The pure nature of this spell, the soul of Shaylin, just echoing and reverberating through the staff, it just calls out, and instead of like damaging flame, like destructive flame that breathes out of your staff, it's more like dragon call, a dragon summoning, and there's fire and there's heat and there's a swelling of arcane magic that bursts out, and it circles around Biffin, fitting in perfectly to the triangle of arcane energy that the other three characters are weaving. So this is a circle within a triangle, a circle of flame within arcane light. And you see, as that happens, you see Biffin take a deep breath and shudder. His and deep from within him, a roar calls out, echoing the roar that your staff let loose as you cast that spell. All right. You guys pass the first check. To continue your process, Adis, or Deimos and Albrecht, the three of you, what more do you have to offer to this ritual?
So I only have magic stuff right now, right?
How long does it take
You
so
also
far?
have Deimos's knowledge and his
Yeah.
his character's truth. You can also choose to drop the spell, the polymorph spell, if you want to.
Well,
You
if
the arcane
Deimos
the
wants to be
arcane
free, I have to drop it.
yeah, you guys can communicate that to each other. But you guys the arcane structure of unweaving the shape change, the intricate shape change around him is begun.
Now,
It
So
needs to
do
be
I
continued.
get
So
Real-
So
as
do
it
I
needs
get
to be
a sense we
continued.
don't need as much arcane power,
Uh,
or
yeah, the first burst, the first hurdle has been overcome. Yes.
like,
so we
out
don't
of-
need 3 of me now? Not necessarily. I mean,
Correct.
Real quick, as a dwarf, since my god was friends to dragons, how do I offer that up in some way, shape, or form? I
You
don't
tell
know.
me. You tell me that is a real and legitimate relationship. The Finzor's ties to the dwarven race go far back, and you actually believe that in some way Modrin's deep connection with dragons, known as the friend of dragons, possibly stemmed from Befinzor's initial interaction with the race.
you could use
So there
modified
is
memory to plant that
there is
in
a
him.
deep there is a deep draconic ancestry, or at least affiliation within your bloodlines.
So you have
So what
modified
contribution would
memory,
you have?
and that could be a way.
I guess I would have. I would just. I don't know how I would do this. I guess Adis is suggesting a spell that he has prepared. Which one is it, Adis?
Modified memory. So you
I could.
kind of tweak it to plant that knowledge into him to hope, maybe.
Yeah, I could coax. I guess I could try to use that to try and coax forth the dragon spirit that is within him, and how his friends, the dwarfs, need his help as that dragon.
Maybe transferring the knowledge you'll receive from the what do you call it, the dungeon about Biffin in dragon form, like so that it jogs memories.
Yeah.
Okay, so describe to me how you're doing it.
Okay. Hey, I just got a call. The next thing I'm gonna offer is my draconic presence. If I fail the check, I'll lucky it.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast the spell Modify Memory and just I guess inception what I just said into his mind.
Okay, go ahead and roll me an Arcana check. So this basically you're plus 13. Okay, you weave the memories of your draconic heritage and your knowledge of Modron together, and you try to insert those thoughts into Biffin's mind to try to bring about some recollection of perhaps an ancient friend, a being, a relationship that he had in millennia past. You conjure Modron himself, the memory of Modron, and you try to send those thoughts into Biffin's mind. With that effort, you see him react physically as he clenches his fists in the dirt, and around his fists swirls of dust begin to rise as the trappings of this powerful, almost primal level spell begin to shake and shudder. All right, Deimos, your turn. What are you doing?
All right. Deimos, since I have connection to the weave now, and I have very decent knowledge of god shit, well, semi-decent, I'm going to try to get a hold of Eloise and why am I saying Eloise? But and try to call her down because she's connected to the weave at all time.
I have a
Akelia?
spell for that.
Yeah, Kelly. Yeah, I don't know. I say Eloise. Yeah,
You
Kelly.
have a spell for. You have a spell for that.
But
It is called Contact Other Plane, which allows you to contact a demigod.
Oh, well, I'll cast that, and I'll try to like channel that through by telling her a joke I told her as a kid of why did the chicken cross the road, and I wait for the right answer.
Roll an
I'm
arcane
like,
check. 20 D20 plus 13.
Oof.
16.
Okay.
Oh wait,
you
wait, no, they get advantage on Arcana checks because
Oh,
they
because
are
they you. Yes.
because they are me. They get advantage on them. Sorry, I forgot about that. But yes, you get advantage on Arcana checks.
why do you have advantage on arcane checks?
Something that I have because it's on my. Let's see, what was it that gave it to me? Because it's on the combat tracker. Because something gives it to me.
Was that like
I have
an
advantage
enhanced
on
ability?
any intel. Oh wait, no, that's a concentration of some kind.
Yeah, it's a
someone put
concentration
on
spell
me.
of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I don't feel it goes through, is
Oh,
it
then no, never mind.
Okay.
possible
So
to say?
Deimos.
Yeah.
Oh, go on. What are you saying?
Oh no. And then, like if I feel like not going through, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with magic. Let's be honest. I'm really trying to get Adis to break this arcane bond, and so I can try to just communicate with the a god themselves using divine power.
I could go first.
Deimos, as you try to channel that spell and reach out to Akelia, the current scion of the Weave, you realize that the effort to do so is beyond your current capability. You stretch forth, and your ability is almost ripped apart. There is a backlash, an aftershock, an effect that breaks through to the core of who you are as you try to overstretch. Akelia does not respond, but the exertion has broken the spell that Adis has cast on you. You return to your normal form, and in doing so, the manipulation that you were contributing to the spell ends. But fortunately, so Adis and Albrecht, I need you both to make arcane checks to see how well it holds together.
Okay. So, well, then I don't know what that advantage is from then, so you want to take it off?
That was from Deimos casting
Something
enhanced
last
ability
time.
on you last week. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You guys are able to hold it together with those with both of those rolls. All right. Renly, what are you doing?
I would like to. I'm still in my moonsight form, but I am going to sing a song through for a spell. It's comfort, and basically I'm just opening my mouth and making a few notes and casting this spell, and I'm trying to like basically help them continue on, because I'm not sure how long this will take. And I remember them saying that other fellow died. And so this is basically to help make them stronger, versus anything that will exhaust them or cause any stress on them as they continue on with the spell, especially as I see Deimos break out of it and it's remaining.
Okay.
It's only with them two left.
Very good. Very good. There as that happens, a calm goes over the rest of your minds. The bolstering of this druidic power, this druidic arcane energy, focuses all of your minds, which is good because you all have advantage on the wisdom saving throw that you have to make right now.
Holy shit. Okay, good.
What's your plus to wisdom?
Give me just one sec. I'm looking right now. It is plus 11.
Wisdom saving throw. Okay.
You said we get advantage.
Yes, because of Renly's spell.
Talk about perfect timing, Renly.
Oh my god.
That actually was. Deimos, wisdom saving throw.
He's no longer 8ish. Remember?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't. Let me roll that real fast.
Oof. Oh, Elwin rolls double
He is
ones.
lucky. He's got lucky.
He's gonna use a luck point. Double ones.
Don't be triple ones.
Do I
Deimos,
have
you have
advantage?
advantage.
Oh,
You have
thank
advantage,
goodness. Okay, I'll take that.
All right. Elwin is gonna roll one more.
Don't take any damage, Deimos.
He
Ow.
gets 2 plus. All right.
Oh well, yeah, it's 11, right? So it's plus 3 more, so that is 13.
The
No,
As-
Elwin isn't
as-
one of me.
Yeah,
As
Elvin rolled
the-
a 10.
all of you succeed. Renly, did you roll one? What was yours?
Oh wait, I didn't. Okay, yeah.
Wisdom
let me do
saving
that.
throw. But you have the stats of that. You're fine. But technically, you would have had the stats of Moon Scythe.
Oh yeah, that's a
The
good
wisdom of Moon
point.
Scythe, anyway. He's got crazy wisdom.
Yes. Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh shit.
The
He's wiser than you, Damon.
Oh, Dan was just dumb and not wise.
from Biffin's trembling form, you see a swirl of energy as this unraveling of a spell begins to trigger arcane traps and safeties that he had weaved into his shape change. One such trap triggers, and there's almost a psychic backlash. Most of you are able to anticipate it, or at least see it coming as a draconic roar rips through the scene. But Elwin, up above, focusing so hard on his own draconic presence, is hit by the backlash. He crumples down to the ground, falling from the sky, landing on the ground, his completely naked form, smacking down to earth. He's going to take 10 points of fall damage. And then 38 points in psychic damage. As his own contribution fails at that point. The dragon flame that was surrounding Biffin begins to die out, begins to dull to a slow burn, to a small burn. All right, I think it's Adis's turn. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to quicken cast an 8th level Dispel Magic and then normal cast a 7th level Dispel Magic. To
Okay.
try to break it.
Okay, go ahead and roll 2 arcane checks. In the current state of the unweaving process, you see an opening, or at least a weakness in the structure of the shape change spell that's crafted around Biffin. You fire a dispel magic, pinpoint dispel magic, but the first one is ineffective. The second one, however, takes. And you see a large layer of the superstructure around him just fall off. You hear again a draconic roar just rip through the atmosphere. People who had come from the town and from the dwarven village had gathered within eyesight. You hear screams and shrieks around you as they drop down to the earth, as there's swirls of power. This is truly almost terrain changing heights of energy that have begun to unleash and focus. The constant outpouring of might from all of you, along with that's being unlocked from Biffin's form, has begun to change the topography of the ground around you. Winds have buffeted the area. Small mounds of dirt and hillside have begun to rip away and erode away. Plant life has begun to blow over. People are running to maximum distance all around you. This is getting intense. Pretty focused. All right, Elwin, are you back yet?
Yeah, I just got back.
Okay, you were knocked out of the sky by the psychic backlash from a safety or a trap within Biffin's powerful woven spell. So you're down on the ground. The draconic flame that you had summoned around him is beginning to die out. What do you do?
Does it look like this is what was supposed to happen? Or do I need
You
to
got
do
everyone
something
else
else
managed.
to-
Yeah. You guys are making your way. You're unraveling the intense structure, the almost the cocoon of arcane, what do you call it, tapestry around Biffin. So you guys have made your way significantly through it, but the energy just begins to amp up and build up and build up. And right now your contribution has stopped because you failed the wisdom check, so you need to get back in the game.
Okay, I got it now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roar mightily like a dragon, unleashing my draconic presence.
Lie down. Okay. How are you? Let's see here. I'll link it so everyone else can read it. As an action, you spend 5 sorcery points to draw on this power, exude an aura of awe or fear. Okay. Okay,
Could
you take
I-
on. Go on.
Could I
What'd you
work
say?
with Elwin and send Sindris ahead to sort of like in response to that cry, Sindris turns into the form, or it looks like something resembling a dragon in its glory, almost like it's crying out in reminiscence of the creature that was. To work in tangent with Elwin.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have both of you roll a performance check.
Performance is.
I will lucky that.
Oh damn, we're just running ones all day.
That's
Oh,
the third one you've rolled, Ellen. You had advantage on one, you rolled double ones, and I luckied it the last
No
roll,
way.
and you rolled a 2.
Oh,
So your character's having
Foresight
shit
does
luck right now.
transfer, right? I think Foresight transfers.
What'd you say?
Okay. I'm like, Foresight does transfer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. then
Yeah, it's you making it, not Sindrius. It's you making the performance check.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The two of you working in tandem, Elwin, as you issue the draconic call, you imbibe the very nature, the very soul spirit of the presence of a dragon. And Renly, you send Sindrius there, acting as your own, as an extension of your own will. And Elwin, you see the flame, and this flame elemental. You being so familiar with Dragonfire yourself, the two of you work in tandem, and you're able to shape him, and he's able to shape himself into the form of a large flame in the shape of a dragon, basically, and with your draconic presence surrounding him and pouring through him. He roars as well, a roar loud enough to rival the Biffin's own scream. You feel the ground shake as the earth underneath Biffin's hands and his knees, as he's still on all fours on the ground, begins to crack and splinter. You see his body begin to move as his back begins to change shape and to morph, almost as if something inside him begins to try to break free underneath his skin. Okay, final round. Albric, what would you like to contribute to finalize the process? The arcane contribution, the arcane weave part of it has been kind of the largest hurdles have been overcome. You get the feeling that you might be able to offer more in your dwarven form than as an image of Adis now.
Deimos, drop concentration then.
Gone.
And then once I'm back to myself, I will just, I guess, I'm not very good with this. I guess I'll just like offer up, do I have anything on me that is particularly dwarven? Because I know, like, if I was Killjack, I would give my hammer up or I'd do something with my hammer, but because that's Modron himself. But my legacy weapon is Gromashi. So do I have anything on me that is particularly or defiantly dwarven?
What would Albrecht have? Is Albrecht a religious
Well,
person? Would he have, or does he cling tightly to his dwarven heritage? You tell me what he would have.
he's not necessarily religious, but definitely proud of his dwarven heritage. I guess since battle ragers are uniquely dwarven, that his armor would be the finest crafted in some of the best design spiked armor to ever have been created by dwarven smiths, and since he knew Modron for only a short bit, there would have been some improvements on the armor by Modron himself, because he
That's right.
did know Modron before.
I think he did. I think
before-
Modron amplified your armor before, back in Cragland, didn't he? He did something for you. What was it?
Yes.
To your sword or was it to your armor?
Oh, he did something for Kildrak Boar, but I'm just saying, since I was a Sigma,
That's right.
and when Kildrak, when the party left, Modron in charge to help us rebuild after our king, and I would have been working closely with Modron, and I probably would have asked him to help improve on it and make it uniquely dwarven and memorable.
Okay. Offer up your armor.
I will offer up my armor, and
Okay.
In a sense, yeah.
All right. You reach over and you undo the clasps that hold this pinnacle of dwarven craftsmanship that you wear. It's probably your dearest possession. You've actually trained your whole fighting style around this piece of equipment, but not acknowledging the deep connection that the dwarven race had with Befinzor and the dragon lineage. You unclasp it and offer it up, and inside of it bears the seal of Modron on the inner breastplate. And as with an almost hesitant motion, you hurl it into the center of this arcane ritual, and swirling with light and energy and power, glowing and basically like a tornado spiraling around Biffin. You hurl it into there, and the armor is caught up, and it flashes, and it's consumed in the energy there, and there's a shock of power as this armor with the symbol of Modron embedded on it slams into the chrysalis of Biffin's shape change spell that's woven around him. There's a shudder and a crack as large part of the remaining portions of the spell begin to give way around Biffin's form. All right, who wants to go next?
I am going to move forward and touch one of my anklets to one of the pieces of his form that have cleared off. And I'm going to channel the energies of Regenerate into the form underneath to try to give him the strength he needs to break out of the shell that has trapped him for thousands of years. And so I'll...
All right, burn the spell and make a wisdom check.
Alrighty.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. Renly, as Moonscythe, one of the guardians of the Feywild, steps forward, you see through his eyes a unique opening in the construct of this incredible spell that's woven around Biffin, and through it you're able to you feel that you're able to send through druidic arcane power a revitalization, an encouragement, a healing, a bolstering to the spirit within, the spirit trapped within. And with a skill that you didn't that surpasses you, even your own abilities, Moon Scythe weaves this spell and focuses it with extreme precision, and sends it deep into the heart of Biffin, or this being within. There's another swirl of energy, and a dragon roar echoes through the ground. The cracked earth spreads all around, and it shudders as Biffin, in his current area, his current spot, the ground sinks almost as if a sinkhole just breaks underneath him, and all of you sink down about 3 feet as the ground drops underneath you before catching itself.
Yeah, snap.
All right.
Guess I'll go next.
What are you doing, Deimos?
I won't be as cool as these other guys, but I'm gonna go super Deimos just so I can like weather the storm pretty darn decently, hopefully.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's pretty freaking crazy, and I'm gonna try to just walk up, run to push my way through, and just like kind of get face to face with him and like press against this Nebularos's burnt like his symbol into my armor, and just like try to like just press it like so we can see it like in his eyes, like as his brother. Hopefully it does something. And then as that happens, try to push with my bonus action my healing, all my healing stuff to like kind of just revivify or revitalize the incredibly large creature that's inside, and just try to like give it the energy to push through its shell.
Very good. Very nice. Okay. Make an athletics check.
Okay. Hopefully it should be an advantage. I'll burn my spell after.
All right. As you force your way closer, being buffeted by the arcane winds that's roaring around you, and the dragon flame that's still managing to be has been revitalized by the presence of Sindrius and Elwyn's draconic presence. Roaring dragon fire all around, arcane tempest swirling around Biffin, the rage of draconic, of a deep draconic mind being poured out and tearing out through Biffin's lungs. You push your way through all of it, Deimos, being buffeted by these winds, being ripped apart. Your stalwart form able to take the blows, but the damage is. And the pain is noticeable as you push your way through the elements, the fire, the wind, the arcane. You take 75 points of
That was
damage.
a lot of clicking.
75 points of damage in basically this tempest that you're walking and forcing yourself into. Reaching the center, though, gritting your teeth and your muscles flexing, your arms flexing, you grab Biffin by the shoulders, or we'll call it by the sides of the head, and you pull his vision up to you, and you look at him, crouching down on your knees to his level, your eyes focusing on his. His eyes are you being close, you're the only one who can really see this. His eyes are burning balls of white flame. His mouth, from inside his mouth, it comes this. You can see deep within him a soul of incredible power, of overwhelming might that seeks to almost engulf you as you're that close, Deimos. But there, as you reach out to him, his eyes catch hold of the twin stars that Nebularis had given you and that you've had planted into your breastplate, and he recognizes the nature, the very nature of dragonkind, even his own brother, echoing and reflecting through those stars. It gives him pause. It gives him a moment of clarity, and in that moment, you cast your healing spell, and you find it intertwining with the one that Moon Scythe had sent in so skillfully a moment prior. And the energy that you pour into him just reverberates through his form, and the rage grows louder, and the tempest grows stronger. But you, with all your might, hold on to the side onto Biffin himself. You're caught up into the middle of this tempest. Adis and Elwyn, what do you guys do?
Alright. I'm going to... Man, I'm just blowing everything today. I'm gonna double cast so I can cast 2 spells.
Mhm.
I'm gonna cast skill empowerment on myself for arcane, and then I'm going to be very cliche, but hey, you never know, it might work. And I'm gonna use the message spell and just bury it in his mind and essentially tell him, remember who you are.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and cast your arcane check. The now being the only one holding the reins of this arcane weave that that you're cutting away at Biffin's shape change spell. With you find a small opening, and you inject this message, piercing through, and with the might and the focus that's been given to you through this scroll from Dolric, your words are the first thing that Biffin has heard, that Biffinzor has heard in 8,000 years. The soul of the dragon awakens within him, and you see cracks, and you see the superstructure of the spell begin to fall apart.
I was just gonna add one
Elwin.
more thing in there.
Oh. Alright, what is
The
it?
message also said you can respond to this message.
No response comes back. Elwin, your turn. What do you do?
Okay, so I see this. I see the spell start to unravel, so I'll take the opportunity to unleash a dispel magic, and I'll pump it up to. Can I pump up spells that I cast from my Staff of the Magi? Can I use the spell level, or no?
For this time, for sure.
Okay, so I'll pump in my level 9 spells for it as well.
Okay. Arcane check.
God damn it! I'll use my last lucky point.
What is up with your rolls today?
Right? I got
He's
tired
too-
in
he's
the
too-
in,
he's- yeah,
in
he's-
the
he's too tapped.
performance.
He's too exhausted.
I'll take the 13.
All right, Elwin. You send your dispel magic into the core of this thing. There is an arcane backlash, and as you see the spell begin to give way because of all the combined efforts of you guys over the course of this ritual casting. The final trap has been sprung. Adis, you get hit with the terrifying fear, realization that this last stronghold, this last trap, is what destroyed Dolric, what seared his soul and caused him to burn from the inside out. I need you guys to roll wisdom saving throws.
Can I react to sensing it?
How are you going to do that?
Dump all 50
Like,
charges from my Staff of Magi into something off of it, maybe. Into a dispel magic on the trap. Dump all the power of my Staff of Magi into.
I'll let you dump it into a. Do you have counterspell equipped right now? Prepared?
Yes, I do. I have a counterspell.
Okay, I'll let you use your reaction. What's your highest level spell slot?
I can cast it at 7th level.
Okay, I'll let you cast a counterspell in the moment. So burn that spell slot, and that will give everyone a +5 to their wisdom saving throw.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, guys, go ahead, roll.
I don't wanna. +5.
Is that what-
21.
How did I roll a higher wisdom save than the cleric?
I'm a terrible cleric. let's be serious. Oh wait, +5. Nah, yeah.
All right. So Adis, you're fine. Moonscythe is fine. Deimos 16. Elwin 21.
So it's,
okay.
I got a 21. Yeah.
You got 21. Okay.
Yeah.
Albrecht, you added the +5 already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
didn't. No.
As you cast that counter spell to try to minimize the effects of the trap, of the final trap, there is an arcane supernova that goes off in front of you. An explosion that takes your sight, that consumes your sight, consumes your hearing. Both those senses are completely overwhelmed, and then the ripple, the force of the blow of the explosion hits you all. As you guys are sent swirling, like it's almost like you're in the sea and you hit by a massive wave, and you're just sent spinning end over end. You lose any sense of up or down, of direction, of orientation. Um, all of you are blasted backwards and spun and totally disoriented. Albric, your character um, begins to burn. Your soul ignites fire, and the pain is unbearable. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Out of curiosity, Midas, even though I succeeded, would I
Oh,
still need to
you're
make a
kidding me.
concentration save if I was
Don't you
concentrating on a
down?
spell?
Oh, you're
In that moment,
kidding
yeah,
me.
you would have.
Okay.
Okay.
I get a plus 17 to a Constitution saving throw, and I roll a freaking 2.
All right. All right, Albric, your soul ignites fire and begins to burn from inside you. The pain is unlike
Oh,
anything you've ever
um,
felt before.
he has advantage against magical effects that cause pain from the comfort spell for 1 hour. Can he roll again for that? I don't know.
Hold on, let me see. Let me go read. Let me go pull this comfort spell back out.
Yeah. The first part is you cease feeling non-magical cause pain, but you have saving throws advantage against magical effects that cause pain. I was like, when will this ever matter?
Apparently now.
Hey, it'll be really good against power word pain.
All right, I'm gonna say that your save failed, but because of the comfort spell, I'll let you roll your Constitution saving throw again. The Wisdom save failed, but your Constitution
Yeah,
save.
yeah.
Yeah,
no, for
that
sure.
yeah, that was the only one I was considering the con save.
Oh, fuck yes.
Okay. Your soul ignites fire, but your physical form, much stronger than Dolric's ever was, it hardens around it, and the burning begins. You take that much damage to as your soul burns from the within. It's almost like it's fire damage from within you. It's not. It's like the searing pain that's just rippling through your form. That's the initial reaction. You're gonna be taking every 10 minutes. You're gonna be taking an additional roll of damage from here on out. As your form begins to struggle against this inner fire that's been ignited within you, this soul fire that's been ignited on you. So I'm gonna write that on.
Now you know how dragons feel when they get heartburn.
1, 2, 3, 4. So 7 d20 fire damage. All right. And there is a massive explosion.
And we're now all in the astral sea in spirit form.
An unknown amount of time passes. You guys aren't necessarily sure what happens. Albric, you're intensely aware of the time passing because your soul is burning, but you manage to not scream. As all of you begin to wake, the ringing in your ears from the eruption sound, the star burned flare of light that caused your vision to vanish for a while begins to fade. You find yourselves all scattered across the floor, across the ground, but you look up and you realize gradually that on the ground, whereas the ground was dirt and rock before, the first thing you guys notice is that you are in a that you feel underneath your hands the long wisps and the long strains of grass and foliage underneath your arms and your legs and your hands as you all gradually pick yourself up off the ground. You are no longer in the plains of Hasselin. Instead, you all look around and you see yourselves sitting on the top of a mount, a peak taller than any that you've experienced before. And yet there's grass and foliage around. It's this rich, almost unnatural area. Um, and you see before you, all of you, as you look around and you locate each other. You find each other's locations in on this mount. You gather together and you see the clouds part and almost coalesce together, and they form together, and a blazing blue set of eyes form, and the clouds contract and harden as they make up the very form of Befinzor, the dragon of searing light.
Biffin, you still want some of that tequila that I promised you?
You hear his voice, his mouth opens, and he's massive. He's larger than any of the other dragons you've seen. You guys are completely dwarfed by him. His whole form half fills the sky. This is the dragon of dragons. This is the one who looked beyond the stars, the one whose mind broke the veil of mortality. And he looks at you all, and he says, "I heard your voice call to me. I saw your signs and heard your message. I felt your truth impact my soul from within the cage I had erected for myself. I am Befinzor. Who are you?"
I will immediately kneel before him, and say I am Albric. I forget what my last name is, but Albric, whatever my last name is, servant of Modron, friend to the Dragon Lords. We beseech your help to rescue your brother and the rest of the Dragon Lords.
Modron, the godling. I recall him in his infancy. I recall him when he first came to power. The things I showed him. The lessons I taught him of himself, of his nature. If you are one of his kin, then our blood and our families are intertwined. He looks at the rest of you. Who are you?
I'm Deimos. Where's Biffin? He's my friend. Bring him back. Just joking, we totally need you. Seven charisma.
His eyes are focused deep on you, Deimos, searing through you. You can feel his piercing gaze, almost looking through to your soul itself. He says,
It's
"You
huge.
speak with bluster and bravado, but I see to your core. You have the scent of him upon you. The darkened one,
Oh,
the
what? No,
changed one.
I don't
I
think
would
so.
recognize that scar
Where?
anywhere."
Oh, he pulled. I mean, his generals pulled my eyes out before.
He
Inconvenient.
breaks his gaze from you, Deimos, and he looks at you, Renly. Who are you?
I will transform back into my gnome form and reply back. Renly, Archdruid of the Feywilds and wielder of Aurelian, and I'll wave the staff up and down. Drinker of tea and eater of mushrooms.
A humorous one, but one who has seen far beyond this plane. I sense your depth, small one. And he looks at you, Elwyn. Dragon kind. Your blood calls out to me. Who are you?
I am Elwyn, and yes, the blood of dragons flows through my veins. And we seek your help. Your brothers and your sisters have been taken over, and they are wreaking havoc across the lands. And I humbly ask for your help. I am your servant in this.
My kin, call out to me. I feel their pain even now. His eyes lock on you, Adis. Last of the five who broke the stronghold with which I had defended myself, sequestered myself for millennia. Who are you, the one who summoned the spell which brought me forth?
I'm like already totally on my knees, facing the ground, bowing. Because my dude has like utter complete reverence for dragons, and I just simply say, "Your humble servant."
I
I'm pretty
see
sure he already knows my name.
a long history of pain within you, but one that grows from that pain, that seeks forth to make oneself better. That is true strength. That is true hope for tomorrow. He says, I have not laid eyes on this world for an eon, and how it has changed, and how still things remain the same. I am Befinzor. I am a dragon. I was old when your gods were young. I was aged when my mother birthed me. I have not always existed, but I have seen most of what has been. Let me show you my mind's eye and give you the truth of this world that you live in. You guys are caught up in the blue of his eyes as the world swirls around you. The intensity of his gaze is completely irresistible. You can't turn away. You're locked into it, and your minds travel through his own mind, and you begin to see his own memories. You see a younger version of himself, a dragon, unlike of a nature unlike any you've ever seen before, serpentine, coursing through the sky, slithering through the air, traveling through, and you see him break through the material that separates planes and go off into the realms beyond. I traveled the plains as a young dragon. I learned and I sought. I mastered and I understood. I began to seek for the answers to questions that did not exist. And when I could not find them here, when I could not find them in the realms beyond, I traveled through the plane of time itself. I began to venture through the ages. In my journeys through time, I saw that all that would ever be, all that had ever occurred, I solved the query of life and death. I saw the truth of pain and war, of sickness and terror. I learned of the 5 pinnacles, the three truths, and I studied the thrice waking suns. I saw the birth of life itself, and the holocausts that came beyond, that snuffed it out, only for life to be born anew, again and again. Through it all, I slowly discerned the pattern: chaos and order, order and chaos, life and death. I saw the rise of gods and the fall of them, with new ones to take their place. I perceived the ancient ones that lurked beneath the depths, angered at the heights that they had been thrown from. And behind it all, through the veil that separated reality from the unmaking, above, reigning beyond, was the One. The One who is above all. He who spins universes into existence and moderates the endless war between chaos and order. All of life, all of existence. An after effect of the battle between chaos and order, that dance, that endless cosmic drift. And we here today, pawns caught in that chaos, that cosmic game. I saw it, and I spoke to him. I, Befinzor, the mere dragon, addressed him, the One. And I was caught in the game, just as my kin were caught in theirs. You guys saw, along with his description, visions of things beyond your understanding, dimensions and planes beyond anything you've ever heard of. The 5 pinnacles, the thrice waking suns, the birth of life, and the collapsing of stars. You saw it all, and through it all, the bits that you were able to understand, you understand the pure vastness of this mind, the mind that this incredible dragon possesses in front of you. And you realize that his strength, although his physical form is indeed formidable, that it is but the tip of the iceberg, a small fraction of the immensity of his mind, the mind that saw beyond the stars. You're brought back to this realm, to this mountaintop that you're on. And as you look around, you see that this is actually the mortal plane, that this actually is an actual mountaintop, a location, perhaps the only one that this dragon was familiar with, is the one that he most identified with from when he was back on this planet, this plane. You're not sure where you are, but you do recognize that you are on the physical world. This dragon floats in the sky in front of you. He says to you, "You spoke of my kin, my brothers, my sisters. I saw in you," he points at you, Deimos, he looks at you, "the sign of my brother, Nebularos. I hear their cries echoing in my mind right now. Why have you summoned me forth? What do you want from me in this moment?"
Gotta get him back from Tiamat.
As you mention Tiamat, his eyes close. There's a wrinkle of pain that is reflected across the grimace of his brow. And there's a pause, a pregnant pause, before he reopens his eyes. He says, "Tiamat, a name that rings with regret through my mind. She was one of us. I knew her in her childhood. She and I were contemporaries, elevated to godhood by one of the pantheon of our age. She took upon herself a heavy burden, and I fear that weight has broken her. Tiamat. He shakes his head with a massive but graceful motion in the air in front of you as his body slithers and snakes serpentine in the air, but still holding still, the clouds parting around him. He says, "Her fate was not one she deserved. If she has fallen to the whims of the dragons, of the gods, in death she is shackled." He says, "I knew it was coming. I knew her death, and the death of my kind was impending. The stars spoke of it. The end of our age. The cycle of chaos and order was come to an end. So I hid from it. I hid from it because I knew that that was the only hope that our kind might have. The gods had drawn ire upon my kind, and I was powerless to stop them." Again, his eyes flash, and Elwyn, you see a more clear version of the vision that you had years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The dragon flights coursing through the sky, Bahamut and Tiamat leading them. You see the old versions, the young versions of Nebularos, Tyaphensia, Krigajard, Zerebor, Mirex, the dragon monarchs that you guys know, Shaylin and Praktinic, all leading their respective flights through the sky. All thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dragons of all ages and varying power levels, massive, beating their wings through the air, rising to the heavens as two golden visages drop from Celestia, from Mount Celestia. He says, "It was that time that I foresaw, when the God above all gods, the one who sat upon the throne, the Lord of our eon, Malchior, this ruled and decreed that my kin would fall. He stepped down from his throne and brought along with him his greatest ally, and together they struck my kind from this plane, purging dragonkin and dragonkind from the earth." And you guys see the warfare going on. Malchior, the god of gods, the highest among them, 6,000 years ago, laying waste, spreading pain and death through the heavens as dragons fell. You see him subduing Tiamat, casting her down to the ground and driving his spear through her heart, sending her into the afterlife, plummeting her to hell and beyond. And you see the other one grabbing and shackling Bahamut, the god of dragons, the god of light and justice and, amongst dragonkind, and dragging him off in chains to the heavens. A few dragons live, few in number, the most powerful of their kind. The monarchs manage to survive by transporting themselves to other planes, by fleeing to other dimensions. A few others manage to escape to parallel realms, but the genocide is complete. And in this description, in this memory, you guys feel the pain, the deep, heartfelt mourning and grieving of Bafinzor. "Would I that I could have been there, but that was not my fate. To stop that would have required a power beyond mine own. It was not time for me to challenge the God of Gods."
So, who is his buddy?
The buddy, you guys know. When you were investigating from the information that you got from Nebularos some time ago. Let's see here. What was his name? His name was... Merkel. M-Y-R-K-U-L,
Okay, yeah.
the god of death.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, I forgot about that for a second. All right, we're good. We're good.
All right.
I was
What do
really
you guys
just
wanna
hoping it
ask?
wasn't a dude with sick abs and a shield and a spear. I was like, oh, that please don't be that guy.
All right, you guys are facing up against Befinzor. Befinzor is, like I said, he's been around for 10,000 years. He is the epitome of dragonkind. He is the mind of searing light. Now's the time to ask your questions, guys.
Me asking.
How do we ascend to godhood to fight evil stuff? Also, what's on the other side? I really want to happen to our good old buddy, dead god.
Gods rise and fall. I have seen the pattern cycle repeatedly through the millennia, through the eons, into eternity past. We are all caught up in the battle between chaos and order, and gods themselves are pieces in that cosmic game. The one above all oversees that battle, moderates its struggle, and worlds rise and fall as do pantheons of gods. As gods rise and perish, their natures change. Perhaps they are reborn as immortals. Perhaps they arrive in new realms and new lands to rebuild their deity. For each it is different. Some end completely. Some are banished to eternities of torment and suffering. But still, there are those who arise anew, and a new generation of gods arises to take the place of the old. When the dragons fell, our age was coming to an end. Malchior and his brood had ruled for tens of thousands of years. And the universe had decreed that eon, that cycle was about to close. So, not long after the dragons were struck down, one arose, the scion of order, a young godling who gained power and challenged Malchior himself at the height of his strength. And the universe watched in expectation to see which duality, chaos or order, would define the next age. And in the heat of that struggle, order prevailed, and the young god ascended to his throne, striking down Malchior, casting him off the peak of Mount Celestia. And that god took upon himself the name of Pelor, god of the sun. And Pelor was strong, Pelor was wise. Pelor's reign was one that would last 100,000 years.
Oh, that's pretty cool. He's dead though. By the way,
Then
why
how
don't-
did Asmodeus come about?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, we think something is wrong with this cycle if Asmodeus came in.
You see him close his eyes and reflect. He says, Asmodeus has disrupted the cycle. Never before has a being of chaos achieved such power. Never before has one forced a cycle to end so quickly. His countenance, his origin is beyond me.
What would happen if he were to succeed in destroying the heavens?
What Asmodeus is doing is without precedent. The cycles have varied in time and in breadth. in spheres of influence, but always they have persisted. Always, the end of one cycle has begun the birth of a new. Chaos and order in their endless dance. Rising up, raising up representatives, scions, to represent them. And the winner, the victor of that battle, would become the progenitor of the new age. That is how it has always been. But this cycle, Asmodeus is something new, something this universe has not seen for billions of years past.
What do you mean by you do not know his origins? Is he not part of the cycle of rebirth?
He is, but he has achieved something which none prior have ever accomplished.
So
To strike
cheated.
down the god of this age, Pelor himself. We are in uncharted territory.
Do you know how he achieved it? Did he travel beyond the plains as you did?
I know not. That is one shadow my vision cannot pierce.
I have a question of speculation for you, Great One. If is it Asmodeus or Asmodeus?
Asmodeus.
We call
If,
it Midas.
if Asmodeus is, say, broken the rules or upset the cycle, in your opinion, why do you think the person that or entity that you discovered hasn't intervened to correct this?
Entity that he discovered?
Yeah,
What are you talking
the
about?
top dog, because he went beyond the beyond and found the top dog. I'm asking him why he thinks that dude hasn't intervened to correct this. If it's
To reestablish
Not-
the cycle.
to fix it.
He's
You
winging
see
it.
him waver in the air, he says. The actions of the one who is above all are beyond all of us. His level of interest and disinterest is not something we can comprehend. Whether or not he has allowed this to happen, I do not know. But one thing I do know, Asmodeus, who may be chaos itself, as one side of the dichotomy arises, the other will naturally rise to meet it. Order will have her say. There will be a final battle, a battle unlike any this universe has ever seen. And perhaps the one above all will show interest in this fight. For he governs many universes. He oversees the existence of many, many worlds. Perhaps this one will be of note to him.
You say that what's happened with Asmodeus is unprecedented. However, in this struggle, when was the last time Chaos won?
Melchior was the scion of chaos. In your time, 80,000 years ago, he overthrew Order's twin stars, the Gemini twins, Estrella and Byricus. Slaying them on the Mount Celestia, he let their blood flow, coursing down its sides. And with that, he established his reign.
It's been a long time.
Damn. All right.
So it's been a long time since. So, your opinion. So is it possible that the reason Asmodeus is so powerful is because it's been just a buildup of chaos since Order has been in control for so long.
Order took over 6,000 years ago. So the timeline is. Let me put this up here so you guys can. I don't have a chart for it, but I'm just gonna do a little drawing. The perceivable past is
So
that.
Law's only been in charge for like 6K.
Yeah.
Or Order. I mean.
So and perceivable past. There was the reign of Malchior, right? About 70,000
Yep.
years. And in this point right here, this was right after the rending took place, when the dragons were driven to extinction right there, right? And Befinzor went into hiding right here because he knew it was coming. Palor arose and ushered in the reign of peace. Palor's peace, it was called. The new cycle began, and in that realm, King Calum, your guys's, or I guess it would be Deimos. He's the only one who's left from the original pack. Deimos's young friend, traveling companion, became the beacon of Palor's peace on this realm, on the material plane. And while he lived, Palor's peace, the world flourished. There was thriving economy. There was peace amongst races and nations. But Asmodeus interrupted that early. He killed Calum, and in Calum's death, the skies opened up, and he launched his assault on the heavens. He united the abyss, the twin realms of the abyss and hell, Beator itself, and all the forces of hell and Beator flowed up into the heavens and launched their attack. In his opening assault, Palor was killed. Asmodeus slew him with his own hands, and that's why this cycle was spun off into a realm that no one has ever known before. It's like in Back to the Future
Right.
2, when they go off into this weird, crazy world because of what they did in the past. This is uncharted territory. So right now, Asmodeus is completing his war on the heavens. Gods are falling and dying regularly, and the forces of hell and abyss are going up to the heavens still.
Wait,
Yeah.
when did you say? When did you say Palor came into power? 6,000 years ago.
Slightly less. So call it, 5.5 or 5.8, something like that.
And
5,000
and
years ago.
Calum was alive during that time.
No.
he's alive
Calum
now.
Calum was their childhood friend. He was born like 50 years ago.
Oh, okay, I got confused there.
Did Asmodeus
But this
exist when
cycle-
Palor rose? I asked the dragon.
Yeah, yes. This cycle should have lasted 100,000 years.
Right. I asked the dragon, is it possible when it was
Malchior?
Malchior? When Malchior fell, when Palor defeated him, is it possible, conceivable, that when he fell that somehow Asmodeus, I don't know, consumed his essence? Because a dude who has been in power for 80,000 years would be one hell of an essence to consume.
You see Befinzor pause for a second. He says, "It is possible. But I cannot know for certain. I do perceive, however, that some essence of Malchior persists to this day. Sometimes gods of exceeding power are able to weather the transition and birth themselves anew. Much diminished, but some form of himself, Malchior, still resides within the heavens."
Can I ask him what I smell like, or this mark that's on me? Deimos has been wondering for about 2 years now.
He looks at
He's
you.
like, everyone, these celestial things don't like me. I don't know why. I think they're pretty cool.
This disfavor you have felt, Deimos, is because you bear the scent of Malchior.
Oh, damn it. Fucking dumbass. I hate that guy. Sounds
Are
like
you
dick.
a reborn Melchior?
Oh, that would be fucking crazy. How much did he lift? It's the best way to judge it.
I asked the dragon if he can tie me to the weave.
The weave. To tie yourself to the weave would just mean that you had no mastery of the breadth of it. To anchor yourself to one portion. He says, one does not bind oneself to the weave to attain proficiency and power. He says, in my youth, I mastered my own interaction with it. The weave is what jettisoned me to the stars and allowed me to transcend beyond. He says, for you, young one, my advice would be to freely explore its pattern, its stretch from horizon to horizon. Seek its nuances. Listen to its vibrations. It will speak to you. It will guide you. The weave
I think. Okay.
is a starting point.
I humbly thank him for his guidance.
You mentioned that order will rise up to counterbalance skills, but the champions of
She
order
always
have been
has.
the champions of order. Most of them have been brought down, and far earlier than their actual time. Is this a sign we may be breaking away from the natural cycle, the start of something new and other, or is it inevitable that we will cycle back?
He says, where we are as of this moment is unprecedented. I do not know where the tides of fate will take us, but I do know that Lady Order will have a say. Whether or not she will be able to overcome Lord Chaos is beyond me, beyond any of us. But she will not go down without one final effort.
So then, what do you suggest we do? Because all we've been doing is fighting back against Asmodeus and his lackeys. We've been able to take down a couple of his generals, but it doesn't. It seems that no matter what we do, it's it seems like we're not able to get ahead. We just make things work. What do you think our next move should be, or if it's inevitable, should we even be fighting at all?
He says, your battle, your course is hidden from me. I cannot see where you've been. I cannot even see who you are. This is curious. This is unusual. Likewise, your fate is shrouded from my vision. Perhaps there is a way for you to contribute, or perhaps you have a role greater than we know in this game. What were you saying, Renly?
Is this similar to Asmodeus? When you looked at Asmodeus, what could you tell, if anything?
I cannot see into that shadow. He pauses for a second. His fate is beyond me, much like yours is clouded from my vision.
I tell him, well, the first thing we need to do is find a way to bring back the dragons to our side. They are causing destruction everywhere.
Or if not,
Is
bring them to our side, at least free them from the shackles.
yes, it was our fault that they were unleashed upon the world. So if you can help us in showing us the way to free them from their um, from their domination, from what's her face, we will do that. And I'll present my staff and say, um, this staff holds the power from an ancient red dragon, and it also holds the power from Shaylin. Is there any way that you can awaken its next ability?
He looks at you and he says, "That staff is a part of Shaylin herself. I knew her when she was young. The red side that you see to it is not a separate dragon. It is her alter ego. The rage that she encapsulated upon the loss of her dearest loved one arose, and she banished it from her soul into that staff." He says to you guys, "This world is in its endgame. The crisis in the heavens is drawing to a full. If there is any intervention to be made, it must be made in the heavens. I believe that your lot may be to intervene there.
Midas.
I will aid you in correcting the discourse of this world. Once I am at my strength, I will be able to remind Tiamat of who she is. I can perhaps create for you an opportunity to strike at the heart of Asmodeus's efforts here in this realm, to close the portal, to deliver this land, to confront Malconthet, that consort of his. If I do so, if I confront Tiamat, your window of opportunity will be narrow, and you would have to be prepared to take full advantage of it."
I mean, bro, obviously we totally do that. Also, do you have deodorant? Because I really just don't want to smell like this.
Hey, Midas.
Yeah.
Of the current pantheon, dead or alive, did any of the gods of this pantheon exist when the gods slew the dragons?
He says, "Melchior persists, as did his right hand Merkel. The rest faded away, as new ones were appointed, as new ones rose with Palor's rise."
So none of the current pantheon.
No, the current god of the dead is Malchior. We know that for a fact.
Merkel.
No, I'm
Merkel.
I'm asking as the player. I'm not asking the dragon. The current pantheon, these gods that are up there in heaven fighting right now, they weren't around when the gods started killing all the dragons, right?
It was only the two gods that slew the dragons. Some of them may have been,
No,
some of them
no,
may
I
have
know.
persisted. So Palor, when he established his reign, some of the previous pantheon might have transitioned over to this new one, but they would have been reborn. They would have been remade. He's saying that Merkel and Malchior both persisted. They were changed greatly, but they both were reborn in this current pantheon.
No. I get that only two gods slew the dragons, but the other gods sat on their ass and let them do it. That's why I'm wondering.
Well, I mean, there's a
So-
lot of stuff for them to
Malchior
do.
was the god of gods. He sat upon the throne.
Why
So
not?
the others were at his command.
My guy's wrestling with the quandary of giving a shit about whether or not to save the gods because the gods killed all the dragons because he likes the dragons more than he does the gods. So that's why I was wanting the clarification.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so all these gods are new. They're reborn or whatever. So
Into the new cycle of order,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
yeah.
So what you're
Okay.
saying is,
So I couldn't hold them responsible for having not intervened. Okay, that's all I was looking for.
Okay. Any other questions?
So, what's the plan? When you distract her, do we slip in unnoticed into the heavens? What's gonna happen with the rest of the dragons?
And the people, my people.
I think he was saying when he distracts her, we kill the person running things for Asmodeus here.
Yeah. If we were to leave for the heavens, what would happen to our loved ones and those we leave behind?
Yeah, he's gonna fight Tiamat and distract her while we go kill the bitch that's controlling her.
This will not be an undertaking of subterfuge and stealth. This is the Armageddon of this age. I will take on Tiamat head on, remind her of who she truly is. But in that moment, surely Malconthet will arise with all her force to try to dissuade me, to combat me, to thrust the final vestiges of order in this world into the pit of hell. You must combat her and all her hellish hosts. You must wrest from her grasp the very keys of the portal that span the breadth between the abyss and the heavens. In the moment where I confront Tiamat, you will have your opportunity to end the war on this realm. It will be the only chance you get.
I asked him if he still has his divinity.
I am not a god. I never was. The fact that the one who is above all chose to speak to me is something other than divinity. I am enlightened. I am awakened.
Could you create a shard of divinity?
There is no aspect of my form that is divine. But what I can do is open your minds to some of the truth of this world. What I have to offer you right now in my current state is limited, but it is a piece, a small piece of that which is beyond. I must go to the well of renewal, the font which exists at the heart of this galaxy. I must replenish my strength. I have lain dormant for 8,000 years, and I can feel my form weakened. While I replenish my strength, you must prepare yourselves for the war which is to come. The final battle, the Armageddon of this world. Begin your efforts. I will confront Tiamat when fate had decreed that it is time.
Oh, is there any chance of, you know, loosening the reins that Tiamat has on those dragons? Because I think they will be headed to Mistrala in about 3 days.
He says to you, not as I am right now.
Alrighty then.
Can I have a scale of yours to put to my armor? It'd be totally cool, bro.
Dude, one of his skills is probably the size of this mountain, bro.
Bro, I'll like cut it down. No big deal.
Dude, his hairs are like the size of ancient red dragons, bro.
Yeah, bro. Give me like something I can stick my armor, bro. Be smart. Come on, dude.
He says to you, I offer you all a boon, a gift of enlightenment, a glimpse of the true potential that your forms hold. Alright, so this is going to take a little bit of customization. Okay, you guys are going to have to think about it. You can choose a spell, an ability, a feat, or an aspect of your characters. Choose one ability, one something, and let me know what it is, and I'm going to create an enlightened version of it. And you also get
So
plus
is it-
4 to all stats.
Oh, so it's both, not one or the other?
It's both.
What the donkey shit? Okay, guys, we just leveled up like 40 times in one session.
So,
Good
like,
job. Good job, everyone.
like,
We just
I
did
have a
it.
13 strength.
Dude, we just did this. We just did it.
Davos, you want to know what my strength is at?
Do you want to know what my charisma's at?
I
Above
know what my
10.
intelligence is at.
Above
My
10.
strength is at a 32.
I'm switching to a bard now, guys. I
Do you
have
want us to just
literally
manually
a
do the
11
stats,
charisma now.
minus?
Yeah, go ahead and alter your stats. His eyes blaze, and the connection that you guys had before when you were entrapped within his mind, you guys are drawn back into that, and you're in a bit of your true potential, the hidden reserve that is within every being, the true enlightenment is triggered, is unlocked, and you can feel the floodgates of your own awareness and consciousness just kind of rip open. So you guys gain plus 4 to all stats as your bodies become hardened, your mind and your understanding sharpens. You also become stronger in a certain aspect. So you guys can choose, like I said, a feat, ability, spell, or trait of yours. Let me know what it is, and I will create a highly enhanced version of it to change your characters. But this is what Befinzer can offer you now. He's weakened. He's woken from an 8,000-year hibernation. He is tapped of strength. He needs to go revitalize himself, which is going to take a little while at the Well of Renewal. So while he does that, he encourages you greatly. He highly encourages you that you guys get yourselves ready and gather whatever allies you can, because there's going to be a war coming up. When he confronts Tiamat, the war will be on.
Hey, Midas, I have a question.
Yeah?
Do changes to your constitution retroactively change the amount of hit points you have?
Yes.
Okay, because it doesn't do it automatically.
It won't do it automatically. It's I forget what the number is. I think it's plus 1 for every level, for every 2. So you would get plus 2 for every level to your constitution. So
That's
if you
24 now.
yeah, so I guess it's a plus 40 hit points because you all are level 20.
Yes.
It'd be 140 for
No, it's
just my con modifier. It's 7 per level.
But the constitution only the increase comes to you, so you would all get plus 40 hit points.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's what I was looking for, is what the overall increase would be.
Yeah, overall increase would be plus 40 hit points.
Plus 40.
For Albert, that's a lot.
I have broken 300 hit points.
Yeah, I now have. Mine's actually a little off.
Okay. So let me
Alrighty.
know. Shoot me an email or a message or something this week about which aspect of your characters you want to enhance, and we will make that happen. Or if you have a specific idea of what you want to do, you can let me know,
354.
Alrighty.
because we're open to change.
Well, you should have higher. You're barbarians.
You remember, you got that massive boost when you unlocked Skyswell.
Yeah, it's just 100. But
Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm only at 325 right now.
Brosive. Times that by 3, though.
Well, yeah, times it by 3.
You got
shit.
stuff.
My charisma only goes up to 26.
What? You need that
Wait.
higher.
So,
Can we take one of Euphemia's books to make that like a 28?
Because we all know she had one.
She had like 4
I
of
thought
them.
she had multiple.
Well,
So
you
now
guys
at least
should have
one.
done that.
I
I
don't
mean,
have I don't have to attune to that anymore.
okay.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Oh man,
We
this
should
is
put that mask
amazing.
on Deimos.
I'm just saying, I have 11 charisma now. I might have to change the way I play Deimos now because he's not full on super dumb at talking. This is weird. This is real weird.
You feel strange, Deimos. Very strange.
I feel like I could sell used cars at the dealership.
Oh no, no,
By the way,
no.
what's your credit score? Doesn't matter. We'll hook you up.
Okay.
Ever been to Kia? You want a Kia? Trust me.
So with that, Bafinzor brings you into his mind, awakens you, or gives you the boon of enlightenment, and says, "Prepare yourselves. I will arrive. I will return when the fates have decreed that the time is at hand." And in a similar flash of light to when you guys that brought you guys up here, Finzer vanishes. The world kind of swirls back into normality, and you guys find yourselves back on the plain of Hasselin, outside of the city of Heldrin. All around you, there are dozens and dozens of townspeople and dwarves and stuff, just like poking around and looking around, just worried about, because you guys just vanished. There's a huge explosion, and you guys just vanished. And you guys appear, and like dwarves and stuff. There's like cries of surprise and screams, like, as they all look at you, as they all see you. Elwyn, Eloise is there, and she's greatly relieved. She comes up, she grabs you, she wraps her arms around you. She's like, "Oh, thank the heavens! I thought you had been destroyed. I feared for a moment there that I would never see you again."
But who would pay child support?
No, we're all fine.
The
I'll tell you
dwarves-
about it later.
There's a cheer as the dwarves all around you shout, that they've returned. There's a huzzah that goes through the air, and they say, "Our hope has returned. Perhaps there is a tomorrow for us still. Yes, I'm glad to see you all again, and of course, Elwyn, I'm glad to see you." Okay.
Alrighty.
yeah, we're back.
Oh,
Alright.
I will take her aside from him and be like, "My dear, I had some important questions for you. Would you like some tea? And were you thinking of starting a family sooner rather than later?" And then I take her to the side, like, arm, hand on the
She-
small of her back.
She
and
looks
chuckle
back
up.
at you, Elwyn, just kind of hesitantly, and she's like, "Where?" The look on her face is like, "What's going on right now?" Her face flushes a little bit with what you say, Renly, about starting a family, and she just you
I'm
shuffle
totally
off to the
pretending
side.
that I didn't hear that and going about my business.
I'll be like, dude, are you gonna start a family? Elf dwarfs? Good job, Owen. Did you wreck that shit?
All right, there's about 15 minutes left in the session. What do you guys want to do?
Just cry of my awesome stat boosts.
No shit.
Panic over how Mistrala's gonna fall. Oh,
It's
God.
That's happening.
Yeah, we should go.
No.
We should go take care of that. I don't know.
Yeah,
We really
we
should.
got this. We got this.
Renly, perception check.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah,
Oh.
19. Oh God.
The chill from the west is more pronounced.
I feel a strong breeze from the west, and it's not fun.
Who wants to come take a look?
I'll go take a look.
Can you fly?
Yeah.
I cannot fly.
guess
I
fly
look
on
at you. I look at you with the greatest stare you can imagine, and I say, "Does it look like I can fly?"
I cast fly on you, and then start
Actually-
going up in the air.
Albert, in your defense, if you flex your pecs enough, you might be able to fly. Let's be honest here.
Let's be honest. Here.
Come on now. Come on now. Look
Are
at
you
those
guys
things.
flying up to go look?
Yeah, I'm just gonna fly straight up.
All right, so you guys are here in Hasselin, where the circle is. All right, you guys know that 2 days to the west is the city of Westvane. Now, what you remember from what you had been told to you from Estrala is that here, Westvane is pretty much the last remaining beacon of civilization. It was a small enough city originally that the dragons have kind of passed over it, but Tyrell Haas, the boy king that you guys saved a couple years ago, is ruling there, and it's become kind of a refuge for all the broken and destroyed peoples throughout the land. And he's kind of that's kind of the melting pot of the people of this land now. Anyway, that is what is to the west. And Renly, you don't really notice it as like a wind, a breeze. It's almost like nature is speaking to you, like there is a chill to the west. Basically, it's nowhere. It's
Oh,
nowhere near
oh, okay. So it's not
feelable.
actually okay. In which case, I would very much want to sit down for a moment after tea with Eloise and commune with nature again,
Okay.
because that sounds dangerous.
Okay.
So there's nothing we see up there then?
There's
It's not
nothing you
a
see.
visible-
No.
Okay.
All right. So you have a commune with nature spell or something?
Yes, that's my ritual spell, and yeah, so I take the time. I spend 11 minutes and sit down with the plants and everything, and ask the earth, what is going on to the west.
Okay. As you do, you reestablish your connection with nature, and you feel a building sense of terror, a building sense of fear. Your mind is kind of brought along with plant life and like the tendrils that stretch between living organic or organisms and organic matter throughout this plane that you're in. It stretches forth, and you begin to piece together somewhat of a vision, somewhat of a rough estimation of something that's coming along the horizon. Go ahead and roll a nature check. Why do you have advantage on nature checks? What's with all this advantage? Oh,
Foresight.
you have foresight. That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you get a sense of it clearly. Nature, Earth itself is in this area is afraid, because right now is bearing over the horizon something that has not drawn the attention, has not entered this realm in the years prior, and you get this vision of
Okay.
this large frozen essence, this large frozen entity. That's the whiskey there. Entity. Um, Having noticed the coalescing population, the gathering of basically creatures of order in Westvane, the city, the capital of Hasselin. This is what you see coming.
Alrighty. I describe it as best as I can,
Oh,
hoping somebody knows what
no.
it is.
No,
You know who
she's
that
super
is?
cool. She's super cool.
Is that Shaylin or is that Teofencia?
That's Shaylin.
Oh, Shaylin, yeah.
Well,
Wait, does
why
she
did they
see?
have to send her?
Does she see like a little elf dude on the back with like guns, just being a dick? That you can point him out. He like literally like just looks like a gigantic dick with a big cowboy hat on.
With a
Big
natural
guns.
20.
Oh, she should.
She rolled a natural 20. Off far in the horizon, beyond where she is. She does sense something watching Shaylin, traveling behind her, almost at a far distance. This is like the very, very edge of her consciousness. She catches a glimpse of Antari's saber, but the vision that she sees is a much different Antari saber than what you guys are familiar with. He is missing his whole right arm. It has been torn off from his body. His whole chest is scarred with what looks like frozen remnants and ice shards across him. His face is half eaten away, and again a crystalline pattern. He still manages to run through the air, but like I said, his whole right arm and right portion of his torso is ripped away.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Yeah, I will describe this to him. He's like, are these friends, or are these enemies? Are we supposed to
Well,
fight these
I
people?
mean, he's our friend. He totally shot my head off once, but he's totally our friend.
Basically,
you
just
want
don't mess
to
with his
meet him?
girlfriend, and he can be a good ally.
Yeah. So good thing is, don't murder his girlfriend, like he said.
I just stare at Deimos.
We can
Hey.
tell him that we took
Oh,
revenge.
wait. Why is Deimos always getting blamed? It was my idea to save her, and then there was a elf lady with us who wanted to destroy it. And I was like, no, don't do that. And then everyone else killed it, and I just grappled it. And then Deimos gets blamed. This is crazy.
No, you took her head and wore
Don't
it.
worry about that part.
Oh,
That
God.
part of why I just collected heads. It
Oh,
was
Albrecht.
Totally acceptable.
Albrecht, when you guys return from the plane,
Yeah, I'm naked, aren't I?
no, your soul burns for
I'm
108
still on
damage.
fire. Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
All right.
Is it a magic effect?
It is. His soul is completely seared. It's magic in origin, but this is a pretty significant wound. This is what killed Dolric, basically.
I mean,
And Dolric was
will the spell magic or great restoration have any effect? Like, is it possible to like look at Albrecht and figure out, like, is there anything that could help with this? Because he seems to be dying.
This is gonna take a
Yeah,
lot
try
more
to-
than the normal casting
Yeah,
spell. Like I said, Dolric was
I'm
not. This is what killed
clutching my
Dolric.
heart.
Hey,
This is what killed Dolric.
Can
So
I-
come over here. Come over, Albrecht. I can't lose my lifting buddy. Not after you just succeeded bench pressing a small SUV.
Let's all try to pee on him to put out the fire.
Yo, P, I need to put out the fire.
Can I cast a? Let's see here.
I'm calling down Tempest.
Can I cast a 49th level dispel magic? No, I'm just kidding.
Like I won't be honest. I've been very much trying not to
Elwyn.
use this. Oh, what?
Elwyn, Eloise comes up, slaps you in the face. She says, "I thought I told you never to speak of that. What we did last night was never to be spoken of. Don't you dare say another fucking word."
Albrecht, I'm sorry. I actually can't do this anymore because Deimos is now unconscious for like a while because I'm just puking my guts out laughing. This is bad. It's bad. Just kill Deimos. I'm just gonna reroll a new character now.
All right.
It's
All
done.
right. So I think that's where we'll end it for tonight. Albrecht,
Oh,
your soul is burning from the inside out, and you guys know that normal spells are not gonna heal this. This is what killed Dolric the Dragonmancer, who is the most powerful arcanist of his era. It's gonna take quite a bit more than that to try to save Albrecht. Also,
Yeah,
Shaylin.
I kind of should have asked him about that while we were up on the.
You probably
You really
should have.
should
You
have.
probably should have.
I have an idea.
All right. Well, you guys have to work on it. Shaylin is bearing down on Westfane. She's caught its scent, and Terry's saber is trailing behind her, but it's from a very far distance. It's like he's watching her and just following her, just powerless to do anything to stop her or to change her or to even to reach out to her. And of course, also Mistrala has impending doom within.
I know.
We said 7 days before, so it's more like 5, now,
I mean,
maybe 6.
I was very confused with our, spending like 3-4 days to find Biffin, and then like a night of like.
We'll call it 5
lots
now.
of smut.
Oh, thank goodness. All I know is Deimos is just remembering: do not carry a dragon head behind you. It's a bad idea. Bad idea.
All right. So that's where we'll leave it for tonight. You guys good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have one question. If I
Sure.
were to change into the branch of Yggdrasil, does it help Albrecht not die immediately?
You have to
Like-
try it. You have to try it.
Okay, yeah,
that is a
yeah,
power
but-
beyond anything that is of this realm, so it might have an effect. Yeah.
I'm just trying to stop him from like dying like the way they've said the other dude had died. So I will transform into the branch and start trying to pour in rejuvenation and energies into him over some time and see
Okay.
if it'll stall this.
Well, next week we have to see if it has an effect. Okay.
Alrighty.
And I might be able to help sell it a little too. Hey Midas.
Yo.
So you want me to go ahead and tell you the spell since I already know what spell I want to do the enlighten for?
Send it to me or just write it in Discord chat. Just put it in just Discord chat. Just type out what you guys want to change sometime this week or something like that, and I'll tweak it heading into next game. Okay,
Also,
well that was cool. You guys finally met Befinzor.
Yeah,
It's so
and
cool.
I'm not gonna lie, you're a jerk for ruining Biffin, and that's super cool. And you're mean.
Hey, Deimos, I can make you another Biffin if you really want one that bad.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can. I can make you one exactly like him.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can.
All right, guys. I'm gonna
Will he
take off.
turn into a
Yep.
dragon?
Thanks, Midas,
All right.
for the game.
No,
Yeah.
he won't turn.
Have a
he'll
good night,
never
guys.
Turn into a dragon.
Have a good night,
Have a
Ellen.
good night. Have a good night.
I'll catch you guys
But
next week.
actually, I
Yeah.
won't be here next week. I forgot to
okay.
mention. Yeah, we had a week-long Giganto campaign, stupid nerd type of thing.
Okay.
We all
Oh,
get
then I'm
over
definitely making you
the
another
shit out of
Biffin while you're gone.
Oh, that's cool. Go for it.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm gonna go find a mouse and true polymorph him into a Biffin.
Okay,
God.
do it. But yeah, I'll ask you this stuff. Thanks for running the game.
Yeah, put whatever
Yeah.
trait you want to be enlightened inside
Yeah.
Discord chat, and we'll go from there.
Alrighty.
For sure, we can
Awesome.
all guess what it's gonna be. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, night guys. Have a good one.
Night
Yeah,
night.
night.